Hiya folks, and welcome to episode 1 of the Playalong tutorial series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This is actually the second episode in the series. Episode 0 was just kind of explanations about what we're doing, so if you want to know more about the Playalong series, feel free to go back and watch that one. This is us jumping straight into the action. If you plan to play along with this, go down to the description. There is a save game and instructions for it for you to download. Put it in your game folder, load it up into the game, and you can play on this map at the same time. You can follow along, you can play along even. That's the name of the series, that's the joke. Okay, we're just going to jump straight in this episode because we've already done all the explanations in the previous episode. Today we're going to be setting up our initial construction setup. This is the first thing you have to do in pretty much any game with realistic mode switched on. But before we start building stuff, let's look quickly down at the bottom right. We've got a few things that we want to look at. The first one is wireframe. I want you to press that twice. You can either click it twice or you can press F1 twice until it shows the little magnet. And what that does is, you don't have to follow along with this bit, but you see it kind of snaps to the grid now. We're going to be using that extensively. I want to be able to say, like, make this 68 meters long, or set this building 6 squares away from the next building, etc. Just so we know exactly what we're doing and we don't want to run into any problems where your buildings are too close together to fit another one in between. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to switch off near snapping, which is the F4. Instead of using near snapping, we're just going to use the grid snapping for that, because we can snap to the grid next to each other and it kind of does the same thing, just with a different spacing. So yeah, you were going into roads, vehicles, and then build road, and then build a mud road. Hovering over this gives you the options for different types of roads. Mud roads are free, so that's what we're going to be using today. We're going to build 2 of them side by side. Don't build right up to the customs office yet. Build just up to here and then connect it, because the customs office entrances are not lined up with the grid, so it makes it easier to have our road aligned to the grid out here and then just make the curves right there. So yeah, 2 entrances to the customs office will save us some problems later on. We just want to connect the 2 together and build another road out into box number 1. We don't actually want to build our construction stuff first. We want to build 2 other buildings before we can get on to the construction. The first is, again, back in roads and vehicles, go to gas station and go to gas station free. Now obviously you can imagine that this is because it's a gas station. It gives fuel to vehicles. Vehicles need fuel, construction offices need vehicles, therefore we need fuel. Otherwise nothing's going to happen. We also need a way to get fuel to the gas station. It's not automatic. You can make it automatic on one of the easier difficulty settings, but that's not what we're doing today. We're going into general cargo, the first in the orange box. Small distribution office is not buildable, but there is a free distribution office which is buildable. Now you'll notice all these free buildings, you see it's got a count 0 out of 5. There's a limit to how many of these you can build. The limit is separate for each type of free building, but there's always a limit to the free buildings. The distribution office doesn't do anything on its own. Like the construction office, it needs a vehicle. Go to purchase new vehicle or mechanism, filter by type, show all, choose oil tank, and get a T138. This truck is going to be doing a lot of work, so we want to make sure it's a decent one from the start. Then unpause, and you'll notice that our truck is coming from the customs office. We'll let it do that and we'll set up the distribution office. So what we want to do is we want to go to this blue plus sign, and we want to add a new connection at the customs office and untick unload and tick load instead. So that's us telling this building, go to the customs office and get stuff. If you have somewhere to take it, this is where you get your goods from. And we're going to say fuel. Fuel is what you get from the customs office. And then again, add new connection. Add the gas station as a destination. Now, anytime this gas station is under 30% full, this truck will go to the customs office and buy more fuel for us for the gas station. So yeah, our fuel supply is essentially perpetually present now. We'll talk more about more advanced distribution office setup in a future episode. Yeah, I'm just going to pause just now. There's no point wasting time. We're going into the construction industry option right at the end there. In construction offices, we can't build any of these. These all cost resources, so we're going for the free one again. We know the drill by now. And we have a limit of 7 of these, so we're going to build all 7. So scroll wheel to turn, R to turn 90 degrees, but like stay on the grid is fine. We'll just build 1, 2, 3, 4, and then R to turn, and then T flips it. So let's do 3 over here, and that gives us 7 construction offices to store vehicles in. There's one other building I'd like to build right now. So back into roads and vehicles, go into depots and find a road depot free, or road depot. I don't know, I'm pretty sure both of those are acceptable. So R to do 90 degrees, build one there, R twice to flip it again, and T to flip it again. There we go, 3 of those. So we're going to basically ignore the depots for now. We don't really need those until later on when we have other buildings to take care of them. For the construction offices, we're going to go through all the construction offices twice. First, we're going to go through and buy vehicles, and then we're going to go through and do all the setup for each of them. Because the setup will change depending on what vehicles you have in each of them. So I would recommend you unpause while you buy vehicles, and I'll show you why once we've bought some for the first couple. We'll go by the numbers. So first one, purchase new vehicle or mechanism. So we'll go into the filter again, and we're going to find concrete mixers, why not? And we're going to buy 4 concrete mixers. Each construction office that we're built has exactly 4 slots. This one's going to be a dedicated concrete mixer one. Escape closes UI windows. Construction office 2, let's buy for here. We'll go in here, we'll go to dumpers. We'll buy the T138, and we'll pause here and I'll talk about this, right? So all these vehicles are coming from the customs office, and you can see they're taking up slots in there. If we'd bought all those vehicles while the game was paused, they'd all just stack up and stack up and stack up. And when we unpaused the game, they'd have to slowly come out one by one, and it would take forever. And then you noticed when they arrive, they have to go and fill up on fuel, because they don't arrive with a full fuel tank. So then, after they all came out here, there were going to be a massive traffic jam in front of the gas station. And yeah, we want the game unpaused so that is kind of spread out over time a little bit better. Okay, back to buying vehicles. Construction office number 3. Purchase new vehicle or mechanism. Let's go for open hull, and we want, so there's 2 SKT 706s. We want the RTTN in this case. So buy 4 of those for construction office 3. And then we'll go to construction office 4, and this is the first one where we're going to buy multiple types of vehicles. So in here, we'll first go to road crane, get the T138 crane, buy 2 of those, and then we're going to get a bus. So we'll get 2 of the LZ695s. They will come along to construction office 4 along with the cranes that we just bought. Construction office 5. This one is going to be a little different because we want to get a bulldozer. In fact, we want to get 3 bulldozers. I think 3 is a good number. 1, 2, 3. We don't want to get 4. And the reason for that is we're going to go to open hull. We're going to buy another SKD 706 RTTN, not RT, RTTN. And the reason for that is, if you see at the bottom of the tooltip, can load vehicles on flatbed 13 tons. So the bulldozer here can only go 20 kilometers an hour, which is not very fast, and other vehicles will get stuck behind it as well. So we want one of these guys to basically load the bulldozer onto it and take the bulldozer to the construction site so that we don't get our traffic all jammed up. But yeah, construction office 6. We're going to do something similar here, but with excavators. 3 excavators, 1, 2, 3, and again 1 open hull. Last one, construction office 7. So we're not going to fill this one up. We're going to leave some spare slots, and we're going to figure out if we need more vehicles of a certain type later on. We want to have a bit of space for extra stuff. Here we're going to go for covered hulls, and we're going to get a T138 covered. We only need 1. That's all the vehicles bought. They're just kind of making their way here. What we're going to do is go back to the start one, go back to construction office 1, and we're going to do some setup for here. So we've got a bunch of concrete mixers in here. Concrete mixers transport concrete, believe it or not. But they need to know where do they go to get the concrete, right? This is what this section's for, right? So we can assign separately for each of the type of things. We can define where they get each of those things. Or we can click this button with nothing highlighted and say get everything from the customs house, and then you can just then minimize that. If you click away and click back, as long as you've got at least one thing selected here, this will be automatically minimized. So we've set up where to get the concrete from. Now we need to set up where do you take the concrete to, and right now it will take concrete to any construction within 1,000 meters of the construction office, which is fine, but I'd like it to be a bit further. 3,500 meters. Yeah, go for it. Just put that to the maximum. You can deliver concrete to anything. Same for dumpers. Pick up whatever you like. Dumpers deliver gravel and asphalt. And again, 3,500. Open hulls. Construction office 3. Anything from the customs office. Deliver it to anything at 3,500. Construction office 4. So pick up from the customs office, yeah, that's fine. The only thing they'll pick up is workers, because the cranes don't need to pick anything up. They just go directly to the building site. However, what I want to do is, so 3,500 meters is, we're going to do that for all of them. But what I want to do is I want to switch off roads, footpaths and factory connections. So this is an optional thing, and we'll talk about this more in the next episode when we actually upgrade some roads to gravel. Essentially, these buses will happily go to the customs office, pay money to hire foreign workers and deliver them to our road, which would happily get done by bulldozers alone. It does mean we do need to do a bit of micromanagement, so if you prefer not to do that, you can just leave those ticked and it'll be fine. But in the next episode when we upgrade roads, I want to show you how to manage that as a kind of lesson. So maybe leave it unticked for now, and then if you don't like it, you can tick these back on. Construction office 5. So first of all, deliver mechanisms only with trucks. We want our truck to be delivering the bulldozers to the construction sites. We don't want the bulldozers to be driving on the roads. We don't want the truck to be delivering steel or bricks or prefab panels or boards to random construction sites while the bulldozers are sitting here doing nothing when they could be getting delivered. So we don't want to assign steel, bricks, prefab panels or boards as a source. So click on workers, specify the customs house as the source. When we click away and click back, it's auto minimized. That's literally the only purpose of assigning anything in this particular customs office. And then for this one, again, we're going back to the standard setup. Everything ticked, 3,500 meter distance limit. For the one with the excavators, deliver mechanisms only with trucks. Pick up workers from the customs office for the same reasons as the previous one. Excavators. So excavators are kind of awkward because there are jobs that only excavators can do. Any building that has a groundworks phase needs an excavator. However, excavators can also do the same job as bulldozers, but they're much worse at it. So for that reason, untick roads, footpaths and factory connections from this one. That will make sure that if a road needs constructed, only a bulldozer will be delivered to it, and that'll be much more efficient. Then we'll go on to this last one, and we're back to the kind of standard one. Everything from the customs house, 3,500 delivery range. There we go. Initial construction setup. That's all you need to do. The second we put a building down to be constructed, all these vehicles will automatically start moving, right? You can pause the game now, actually. I probably should have done that once everything stopped moving, but that's fine. So that sets us up with a fairly solid foundation for the next episode. So yeah, that's it for episode 1. Put some comments in the comment section if if anything wasn't clear, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, whatever. And yeah, I'll see you in episode 2. Cheers.